Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Judge.
Afternoon.
The SAP reset date is July the 13th.
Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, July 13th. I have to comment on Miss McLeod's background. That's my favorite one. I can't hear you. You're muted.
Unfortunately, I'm not at the beach, Your Honor, but this would be a good day for it.
Oh, yes. We still have a few days to get there, I guess, if we need to, huh?
Yes.
All right. The state, are you guys ready? Let's see. Are they on? Position 4 to break out. Let's see. What do we have on the chat? You mean you haven't had a chance to interview him yet? Or you mean we need the hearing and a breakout?
We haven't had a chance to interview a few people. There are a lot of people added late and we couldn't get a hold of the jail.
Okay. Are you doing both, Mr. Jordan?
I am today, Judge.
Okay.
I don't see
Well,
any of the ASGs on either.
I don't either.
Nimini is on.
Who?
Diamond Nimini.
Oh, okay.
Oh. State?
Your Honor, I am here, but we are waiting for ASG Eggers as well.
Okay.
For position 5, I am going to be requesting just a very quick breakout with the court.
Okay.
Nimini, you got any cases?
Yes,
Just redo her cases?
okay. Give me one second. Yeah, we can start with me. I'm 1 through 3.
1, 2, and 3.
Yes.
All right, let me go ahead and give my opening. Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to begin our Fulton County State Court Expedited Accusations calendar. This is a calendar for cases in which individuals have recently been arrested and charged with certain misdemeanor offenses. Soon after their arrest, the Fulton County Solicitor General's Office has already accused these cases of the offenses brought against them, and the cases have been bound over to the Fulton County State Court. Nevertheless, this will usually be the defendant's initial appearance before a state court judge. So we are able to handle several matters, including bond, possible arraignment, and a possible plea offer if one has been made by the state at this juncture. I'm going to advise everyone that this whole entire proceeding is being recorded as well as live streamed on YouTube, so govern yourselves accordingly. And I want to remind the defendants on this calendar that you do have certain constitutional rights. The first being that you have a right to representation at this juncture in your case, so you should know who your attorneys are by now. You also have a constitutional right to remain silent. Anything that you state about the facts, the circumstances, and the occurrences can and will be used against you, so listen to your attorneys. All right, Deputy, who do we have?
Position number 5, Ms. Henderson.
I don't think we can do 5, can we?
Okay.
We only have one prosecutor. And you said you only had 1, 2, and 3. Is it enemy? Oh boy, don't let me tear it up. Terrible. Pronounce it for me once.
Nimini, Your Honor.
Nimini?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. ASG Nimini. We can't do 5, can we?
No, Your Honor.
We can only do 1 through 3, Deputy. I'm sorry.
Okay. Let's do position number 1, Bragg.
Okay. This is 23 CR 004107E. Emmanuel Bragg, charged with 1 count of simple battery, family violence, 2nd count terroristic threats and acts, 3rd count willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer. Offense date June 29, 2023. Pretrial.
Second arrest, 2018, domestic violence out of South Carolina.
All right, state.
Your Honor, Mr. Braggs, this incident happened at 2025 Hosea L. Williams Road. Defendant yelled at victim Nelms and told him that he would kill her. And then he proceeded to strike her in the face, in her head, and in her throat. And then when officers arrived, the defendant resisted arrest and also turned towards the officer in a fighting stance. Considering that there is a domestic case open in South Carolina, and this present case, the state is asking for $5,000 in surety bond, $3,000 for the simple battery, $1,000 for the other 2 charges, 1 day of anger awareness, no further contact with victim Abigail Nelms, stay away from 2025 Hosea L. Williams Road, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, Your Honor. And if the victim is present, Your Honor, I would ask that you sound for the victim at the most appropriate time.
All right. I don't believe victim Abigail Nelms, Ms. Nelms.
I'm here.
Oh, Abby. Okay.
Yes, I'm here.
All right. Do you wish to make a statement to the court?
Yes, I do.
All right. Let
Um,
me swear you. Hold on. Let me swear you in first. Raise
Yes,
your right
ma'am.
hand. Raise your right hand. Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, I do.
All right. Put your hand down. And do you still want to have contact with Mr. Braggs at all?
No, I do not.
All right. Are you in fear of Mr. Braggs?
Yes, I am.
Okay. All right. Those are the 2 questions that I'm concerned with today at this bond hearing. This is not your trial. It's not to dispute the facts at this point. Any cross-examination by the state or by the PD?
No, Your Honor.
All right. All right. Go ahead and present Mr. Coleman.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, I will be requesting a signature bond for Mr. Braggs. It looks like this is only his 2nd arrest. Last arrest was some 5 years ago out of state. Mr. Braggs is 32 years of age. He does have an address here in Atlanta, Fulton County. Mr. Braggs does have his associate's degree from Colorado Technical University. He is employed at the Marriott Marquis Hotel. He's been working there for the past 2 months. He is the father of 5 children, age range from 3 to 14. Again, we'll be requesting signature bond based on his very brief criminal history.
Okay. I'm going to order the $5,000 signature bond through the jail. I'm going to, that breakdown will be 3,000 on the simple battery, 1,000 on the other 2. I am going to order no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. I'm going to order a stay away from 2025 Hosea Williams Road, I believe it was.
That's the wrong address.
Okay, is that where the incident occurred?
It's not. It happened at 349 Decatur Street Southeast, Atlanta,
Hold
Georgia.
on a second. Hold on a second. Does the state or the PDs have that other address at all?
No, I just have the residence address for Mr. Bragg, 349 Decatur Street. I explained to him that because that is not his address, his name is not on the lease, he would likely need to find someplace else to stay.
Okay, so the 349 Decatur was his address.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, and I think I'm not, I believe that address is for a friend. Well, no, I think it may be Miss Nelms's address.
Is that your address, Ms. Nelms?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So whose address is the 2025 Hosea Williams, Ms. Nelms?
I have no idea.
Oh,
I don't know where that came from.
oh, okay. Well, I will order a stay away from 349 Decatur Street. And no further contact with Abigail Nails. And that's all I'm gonna order at this time.
Was that a six gone through the jail or free trial?
Jail,
How much was it?
I'm sorry.
How much?
Oh, 5,000,
Thank you.
3,000 on the simple battery, 1,000 on the other two.
Mr. Brown, come on. Position 2, Brown.
This is 23 CR 004106H. Mr. Brown charged with 1 count of theft by taking. Pretrial.
39 total. Last arrest was in April. Probation. On probation for burglary. 21 SC 179074. He got a 2020 possession of drug-related objects conviction. 2019 failure to appear. 2013 simple battery conviction. That's it.
All right, state.
Yes, Your Honor, this offense occurred June 30th of this year at 532 Wabash Avenue, and this was Mrs. Margaret Bender's home. Mr. Emmanuel called the officers because the defendant had taken Amazon packages off the mentioned location, the porch. He was looking after the house of his neighbor, Mrs. Margaret Bender. Ms. Bender told the officers that the guy in the video took her Amazon packages that contained tennis skirts. Mr. Bender, the person who was watching the home, also stated that she did want to press charges. Officers were able to make contact with the defendant at 510 Wabash Avenue on the porch of an abandoned home. Considering that some of the arrests that the defendant does have, the state is asking for 1,000 surety bond, no further contact with Ms. Bender or Mr. Emmanuel, the person watching the home, and to stay away from location 532 Wabash Avenue, which is Ms. Margaret Bender's home, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, Your Honor.
Okay. And what was your recommendation again?
1,000 surety bond.
Okay. All right, Mr. Coleman.
Yeah, I'd be requesting signature bond for Mr. Brown. He is 64 years of age. He does have an address here in Atlanta, Fulton County. He is currently not working as he is retired. He is a high school graduate. Again, since he is not working, he has no money to post for bond. This is a nonviolent offense. I remind the court at this time that these are just allegations against Mr. Brown. I believe according to the warrant that the alleged stolen package was not found in his possession. Again, I'd be requesting a signature bond.
All right, I'm going to order $1,000 surety bond. I'm going to order stay away from 532 Wabash Avenue. No further contact with the victim, Margaret Bender. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. That should conclude this case.
Position number 3, Mr. Diallo.
Your Honor, I'm currently on the phone with Mr. Harris. He was the person I didn't get to
Oh.
speak with.
Okay.
If the court would like, we can move on to another one of my cases, position 7 or position 10.
Okay. Do we have the other ASG here? What's going on over there?
We can get position number 7, Ms. Mitchell.
The problem is which ASG's case is this?
Mr. Edgar says he's in the waiting room, Your Honor.
Tell them to check the Zoom link.
Also, I was able to interview Ms. Hausler. Is there going to be an add-on calendar sent for her?
I don't have one.
So I haven't heard anything back from the SG office about those cases.
All right.
Who can we go forward with then?
I can take Wilcox and Kathleen Hausler. I just don't see where she was a late add-on.
I have Ms.
The other two, Wilcox, I was informed that it's going to be a medical reset for him till Monday.
Okay.
And there was also a position, I think 9, Tyrese Taylor. I was informed that he made bond. Is that correct?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah, that's correct.
He
Okay.
made bond. That was a yes, deputy.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And then we have position, I'm sorry, position 12 is a reset to July 3rd.
Correct.
Okay.
Which position was announced that made, Brian?
9, Taylor.
9, thank you. So I have a case with Kathleen Hausler. Hausler that's pending in the queue. I have to initiate the case.
This is Ms. Hausler right here. What did you say?
So I haven't initiated the case yet. Well, I'm gonna need a minute on her case because I'm the only one here today.
Okay.
All right.
I don't think we can do anything else unless they're prepared to go forward on position 7 and 10.
Where's Mr. Eggers again?
Your Honor, I was told he was in the waiting room.
Couldn't be, not for 20 minutes. Mr. Jordan doesn't see him. He doesn't have the right link, obviously.
Yeah, he needs to check the link that he's logged into. It should be the same one that was on the email that was sent out.
Okay. Just give me 1 second.
So I have a case for Ms. Hausler.
Okay.
Can we do position 3?
Okay.
I'm finished speaking with Mr. Harris, so I can handle position 3.
Okay, great. We're doing position 3, 23 CR 004103F, Mr. Diallo. You're charged of 1 count of cruelty to children in 3rd degree, 2nd count hindering person make an emergency telephone call, third count of battery, family violence, pretrial.
This is fifth arrest. Last arrest was August 2022, battery DV. You got an open ag assault with a deadly weapon. Theft by taking in Superior Court. It's 23 SC 187486. And the open battery DV is out of the cab. Also, an open felony theft by receiving a suspended license. That's it.
All right, state.
Yes, Your Honor, this incident happened yesterday, June 30th of this year at 3020 Elmwood Circle, South Fulton. Officer spoke with Ms. Bald, where she stated that her and the defendant live together and they do have a child together. They were arguing. The defendant wanted her to come home early from work, and because she didn't, he got mad. Defendant got mad. When she got home, defendant was waiting for Ms. Bald in the garage and told her that if she came home late again, he would kill her, and he laughed about it. Defendant laughed about it. Additionally, Ms. Bald stated that the defendant punched her in the face, leaving red marks and bruising. And then this all happened in front of their 18-month son, Diallo Jr. Additionally, when Mrs. Bald called the police, the defendant did take her phone and left the house with their son. So considering that there is a open ag assault case with the defendant, the state is asking for a $5,000 surety bond, $3K for the battery, $1,000 for hindering the 911 call, and another $1,000 for cruelty to children. No further contact with Ms. Bald, 1 day of anger awareness. Stay away from 3020 Elmwood Circle, South Fulton. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and a one-time police escort to get his belongings. And if at the appropriate time, if you could sound for Ms. Bald, if she's present today, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Bald. Ms. Bald. No. Go ahead, Ms. Bronstein.
Thank you, Your Honor. Before I get into anything much, I do want to point out that the address that the state listed is actually a house owned by Mr. Diallo and Mr. Diallo's mother. I checked the Fulton County Tax Assessor's website. Those were the two names on the property. Ms. Balde is not on the property. So we would ask that he not be kept from his house that he owns. Again, I checked the tax assessor's website. His name is on the house. Ms. Balde's name is not. And Mr. Diallo is 30 years old. As the state said, he does have an 18-month-old child. He also has a 6-month-old child. He has lived in the Atlanta area for a good long while, about 7 years. He has ties to the community. He works here. He's self-employed, works in sales. And he's been doing that for several years. He did say that business has been very slow recently.
Mariama, can you mute,
Yes.
please? Mute
Yes.
yourself. Mute yourself. Thank you.
He said that business is slow. He really doesn't have much money to pay an amount of bond. He did say that the events he believes are not as they happened, as they're listed in the warrant, and he does want to fight these charges. He understands his criminal history. He still wanted me to request a signature bond from the court or a low bond, taking into account his financial situation. And again, the returning to the house, which he owns.
Okay. I'm going to order the $5,000 surety bond. That will be $3,000 on the battery, $1,000 on the hindering of the call, and $1,000 on the cruelty. I'm going to order that he stay away from 3020 Elmwood Circle. I heard what you're saying, but we have a victim and a small child. I don't know if they have anywhere to go, but he needs to find somewhere else to stay in the interim. And no further contact with Ms. Bald. I will allow a one-time law enforcement escort back to the property so that he can get his personal belongings. So he's not to go back unless he is scheduled and arranged for a law enforcement escort. I am going to order no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And I guess that'll be it for now.
Position 4, Mr. Harris.
This is 23 CR 0041113Y. Montavious Harris, charge of 1 count of battery and a 2nd count of riot. Pretrial.
7 adult arrests. What we got? I got May 27th out of Dooley County, driving without a valid license, obstruction, giving false name. Misdemeanor possession of marijuana, window tint. Possession of a firearm by convicted felon or felony first offender. On probation in Cobb, hijacking motor vehicle, street gang activity. On probation in Fulton, criminal street gang activity, theft by receiving, and another theft by receiving. That's it.
All right, state.
It's me.
There you go, Mr. Eggers.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah, this incident occurred June 22nd. It was in the Atlanta jail, Rice Street. The defendant, along with 2 others, repeatedly punched and kicked the victim, leaving him bleeding from the face. Mr. Harris did not engage from the attack when instructed to by the officers. You know, he's young with a number of cycles. You've heard the criminal history. We're asking for a $5,000 surety bond and a no further contact with the victim.
Okay. What's the breakdown for the 2 charges?
We're asking for $4,000 on the battery and the $1,000 on the riot in jail.
Okay. All right, Ms. Bronstein.
Thank you, Your Honor. Before I make a bond argument, since he's been in custody since June 15th at Rice Street, Fulton County Jail, and the state just said that this occurred on June 22nd, how is this not a Riverside issue?
Mr. Eggers.
I mean, he has committed a new violent act and should be this is the first time we've been able to charge it.
I mean, it sounds like it happened on June 22nd. We're now on July 1st. And he's been in continuous custody. In Fulton County Jail.
Okay, the state doesn't have anything else to say in that regard. Because otherwise he would just get a signature bond.
I mean, I do have a bond argument I can make. I just feel like it, for judicial economy, it makes more sense to figure this out first.
Mm-hmm. If the state doesn't have any more arguments, I'm going to give him a signature bond.
Yeah, no further argument, Your Honor.
Okay. So, for Mr. Harris, I will allow that $5,000 signature bond. And that signature bond will be through the jail. It's 4,000 on the battery, 1,000 on the riot. And I don't know what the other charge or underlying charge was.
I've been having Odyssey issues, so
Pretrial,
Yes.
or does the state know? Do
What's
we
your
know
question?
what his underlying charge was for the June 15th?
DUI. driver without a valid license.
DUI?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Your Honor. I made a factual mistake. It occurred June 30th. The event occurred June 30th, so there's
Oh,
no
is it not
issue.
June 22nd?
No, Your Honor. No, Your Honor.
do you have because the offense date on the calendar also says June 22nd. And my client did tell me that it happened over a week ago. So do you have the warrants that you can? And the warrant appears that it says June 22nd as well.
Okay.
Is that what you have too, Mr. Jordan?
Yes, Your Honor.
You have June 22nd as well?
It is. He was placed on the felony calendar by mistake, and he never appeared on our account.
Yeah, that was the arrest date.
Right, so the warrant was added to the jail screen yesterday, but the warrant was from 6/22/2020. So he was just left off the pull sheet. We had some cases the other day where it was a bunch of individuals who got in a fight at the jail, and his name was just left off the pull sheet by mistake.
Yeah, that's a record issue.
Mm-hmm.
The 6/30 was the arrest date. The incident happened 6/22.
But
All right,
and yeah, sorry.
go ahead, Ms. Bronstein.
I just wanted, he's been in continuous custody at the Fulton County Jail since the incident date.
All right, I'm going to give him a signature bond, $5,000 through the jail, 4,000 on the battery, 1,000 in the riot. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And no further contact with the victims in the case. And I would say stay away from the jail, but just no further contact with any of the victims.
And with the jail, make sure that they're not placed together. I wouldn't want him to violate the location.
Right. Do you hear that, Deputy?
They're already separated.
Good, thank you.
Position number 5, Henderson.
Okay.
And Your Honor, this was the case, just a brief breakout. We can have most of the bond hearing in open
Let
court.
me, okay, before we do that, the person on the phone with Mariama, which case is she here for? Mariama?
Judge, I think that was position 3.
Yes, I'm here.
The victim.
Oh, she was here for position 3 that we've already heard and finished. Did she get on late?
No,
'Cause
she
I
was
don't-
on.
She
She
was
was the one
on?
that had the baby in the background.
Okay. Miss Mariama, you were here for Mr. Diallo.
Yes,
Are you the victim in that case?
yes.
All right, we've already ruled. Did you hear the ruling?
You say what?
I've already ruled on that case. Did you hear the ruling?
I heard it, but like what I was wanted to say, like, because I heard you say you want him to stay away from the house and no contact with him, and I don't want that. I want him to come back to the house, so we're gonna live together because I have 2 kids with him and I really want to have contact with him so he can come back in the house. We both gonna stay there together.
Nope, that will not happen. Somebody will be going to jail. So that will not happen. I want to make sure there's the ample cooling down period and that you and the baby or the children are safe. So he is not to return there. If he does, he can be rearrested. So no, he is to go stay somewhere else. He's to have no further contact with you while he's on bond. Okay? Thank
No.
you. I've ruled on that case. So you can sign off if you like, but he is to have no further contact with you.
Position number 7, Mitchell.
All right. Is it 7 or 5?
7, we can go back to 5.
Okay.
If they want to do a break, I say stop, we'll go ahead and go around position 5.
Oh, okay. All right. This is Mitchell, 23 CR 0041110C, charged with 1 count of drugs not in original container, and 2nd count of possession of marijuana less than an ounce pretrial.
Michael, I didn't have Mitchell. I'll
Oh.
defer to the state. I don't have that one.
Okay. State.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. The state has brought 2 charges. Well, we brought 1 charge, drug not in a container. We're going to NOD the misdemeanor marijuana. Miss Mitchell, this occurred June 30th. Miss Mitchell was stopped on the road for an outstanding warrant. The officer detected a strong odor of marijuana. A search incident to arrest found a bag on the back seat of the car with approximately 2 grams of marijuana and 32 pills of cotiapine, not in a prescribed container. The defendant did acknowledge to the officer that the bag was hers. She's 25 years old, nine cycles, appears to be possibly an addict. We're asking for $1,000 surety bond, a stay away from the location, and a no drugs, alcohol, or weapons provision. And she has 3 convictions: a cocaine possession, a diverted drug, and a probation violation.
All right. Mr.
Your
Coleman.
Honor, Your Honor, I be requesting a signature bond from Ms. Mitchell. She is 25 years of age. She does have an address here in Atlanta, Fulton County. Ms. Mitchell did attend some college at Georgia State. She currently works as a bartender. This is a nonviolent offense, minor charge of drugs not in original container. I will be requesting a signature bond on her behalf.
Yes, and real quickly, Judge Mincy, good afternoon. With this defendant's case, we will be charging the possession of marijuana, Your Honor. So that is included with the bond amount that Mr. Eggers just gave.
So it's not the NOD?
We're not going to NOD it.
I'm sorry.
Ma'am, we're not going to NOD charge.
I didn't hear you. Your connection's not good. Say that again.
Can you hear me? We are not going to NOD the charge.
Okay. So is it a 1,000 surety bond, or is it more, or what's your?
It should be more. It should be a $1,500 surety bond, $1,000 for the first offense, and then $500 for the marijuana, the possession of marijuana charge.
Okay. All right, I'm going to order the $1,500 signature bond, and that signature bond will be through the jail. That'll be $1,000 on the drugs not in the original container, $500 on the possession of marijuana. And with that 1,500 signature bond through the jail, I'm going to order no drugs, no alcohol, no weapons or guns while on bond, and stay away from the incident location. I don't have that address.
Your Honor, I believe this was just a traffic stop.
Oh, that's right. They did say that. So take away the stay away. Oh, it's certainly no drugs while on bond. And that's it.
Thank you.
This, add on 1, Hausler.
Okay. Hold on a minute.
Are you on the case number?
I have it, 23 CR 004115B, Kathleen Hausler, charged with 1 count of battery, family violence, and cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. Those are the 2 charges. Pre-trial,
First arrest.
first arrest, okay. State,
Yes, Your Honor. We have 2 charges, battery, family violence, and cruelty to children. Came up pretty soon.
I'll handle this case, Mr. Eggers.
Oh,
Thank you.
if you go ahead.
Your Honor, this incident happened June 30th, yesterday at 6:41 p.m. The Miss Hausler battered her husband by punching him in the face and punching him in the chest and punching him in the groin and biting his hand continuously. When officers arrived to the domestic dispute, Mr. Chance Hausler did state that the parties are currently going through a divorce, and that the children witnessed it. Little Miss Madeline Hausler also witnessed this incident between the parties. Just based on the violence and based on that this incident occurred with the child present, the state is asking for a $3,000 surety bond, no further contact with Mr. Chance Hausler and Mrs. Madeline Hausler.
give me the initials of the minor victim. Don't say her name, please.
I apologize, Your Honor.
Mhm.
MH. Due to the nature of this incident, the state is asking for $3,000 surety bond, no further violent contact with Mr. Chance Hausler. They do live at the location at 165 Watermills Falls, but we are asking for a stay away since they haven't had adequate cooling time. Since
And
then,
are you asking for no further violent contact and no further contact?
no further violent contact.
And what's the breakdown of your recommendation for the 3,000? There's 2 charges.
Give me 1 second, Your Honor. Oh, actually, 4,000, 1,000 for the cruelty to children and 3,000 for the family violence.
All right, Mr. Coleman.
Your Honor, I'd be requesting a signature bond for Ms. Hausler. She is 44 years of age. She does have an address here in Atlanta, Fulton County. Ms. Hausler has her bachelor's degree from James Madison University. However, she is currently not working. Therefore, she has no money to post for bond. She is the mother of 2 minor children, ages 1 and 6. It appears that this is her first arrest. So again, lack of criminal history. And I remind the court at this time that these are just allegations against Ms. Hausler. I'd be requesting a signature bond.
All right, I'm going to order that $4,000 signature bond through pretrial per judge.
Your Honor, if I may interject, Mr. Hausler is currently present. If we could sound for Mr. Hausler, Mr. Chance Hausler, he is online.
Mr. Hausler, yes. Mr. Hausler, do you wish to address the court?
Yes, please.
All right, raise your right hand. Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
I do.
All right, are you in fear of Ms. Hausler?
Yes, I am.
And do you want to have contact with her?
I do not want contact with her.
Okay. All right, any cross-examination?
No.
Okay. All right. I'm going to order the $4,000 signature bond through pretrial per judge, which would be 3,000 on the battery, family violence, 1,000 on the cruelty. And it sounds like I am going to need to order a stay away from the marital residence, 165 Watermills Falls, and no further contact with the victim, Mr. Chance Hausler. I am conflicted slightly about her contact with the minor child, and I understand there's a second child.
Yes, Your Honor, both minor children were present at the incident.
And they're both in your custody and care now?
Yes, and their ages 5 and 7.
5 and 7. Oh, they told me 6 and 1, so that's not correct.
No,
Okay, 5 and 7.
yes, ma'am.
I normally, when children are that small, I try not to order that they have no further contact with their mother, although the mother is the defendant in this case, and the two of you cannot be around each other. That is for sure. I want to make sure there's been the ample cooling off period. Would you all be able, if there's visitation allowed, to exchange the children through a third party? Do you have someone else that could help facilitate visitation?
I can't speak to that at the immediate moment. My sister's coming, and I don't know for how long of a period we would be talking.
Mr. Cohen, it looks like your client may want to speak to that, if that's all she's going to speak to.
Yeah, if ma'am, if you know anyone in your family could act as an intermediary between you and your husband so that you could see the children, is there anyone?
Yeah, we have numerous friends and family all over. They've gone to camp and daycare at Little Yogi, which would be a fine place. We also have numerous neighbors. Lindsay O'Connell would probably be a fine one, or 2 neighbors down, or even the neighbor right next door, Miss Carol, would probably be fine. She's like 80 years old. All of our neighbors know both of us and both of our children. So Myra, her parents, either Harsh or Benish, would be a friend of our daughter's, live in the neighborhood. They would be fine, I think, to help out. So I think there's people just within a block that would be able to assist. They've never met her, so I'm cautious about that.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to put the 80-year-old neighbor in the middle of it just because of her age and stress of the situation. But it sounds like there are third parties. So what I'm going to order right now is no further contact with your husband, Chance Hausler, and no further contact with the 2 children, and visitation should be precipitated by a third party, which means, Ms. Hausler, that you're not to contact your husband. That third party should contact him and arrange the exchange or the visitation location or place so that you don't violate bond by having contact with your husband right now. All right. And no drugs, no alcohol, no weapons, no guns while on bond. Okay. That'll be the ruling of the court.
Thank you, Honor.
Mm-hmm.
Position 6, I'm sorry, position 8.
Okay. This is Quanisha Poole,
Yes.
23 CR 004108C, charging 1 count of theft by taking, 2nd count of battery, family violence, 1st offense. Pre-trial.
7th arrest. Last arrest was 2016. It's for a capital offense that was dismissed. On probation. Hold on, let me calculate this. That probation should be over. But the bond assessment says she was on probation for ag assault, a deadly weapon, theft by taking, possession of a firearm during a commission. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Mr. Akers.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. This is a companion case with number 5, Jermaine Ivy. Kind of a mutual disagreement, but the event occurred June 29th in and around 1623 Westwood Avenue, Southwest Atlanta. That they had been an ex-couple. She took his keys and left the house with them. So that's the basis of the theft by taking. And then at a later point did take a swing at him, trying to hit him. And that was caught on ring video from across the street, and that's the basis of the simple assault. We are asking for, the state is asking for $1,000 on the theft by taking, $4,000 surety bond on the simple assault, no contact with victim, stay away from the incident location, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons, anger awareness class also, and the victim is currently in custody.
Okay, so the victim is
Jermaine Ivy.
Position 6, Your
I
Honor.
thought it was Henderson, huh?
I think the state misspoke earlier when they said position 5. It's position 6, Mr. Ivy.
Okay.
Oh, 6, okay. All right. Go ahead, Ms. McLeod.
Yes, Your Honor, my client is 28 years old. The state has mentioned that my client had some previous arrest, but I would like the court to note that those charges were null pros, they were dismissed. So she does not have any conviction on any of those charges, Your Honor. My client tells me that she's currently unemployed. She only has the 9th grade education, Your Honor. She's been pretty much unemployed for some time. So she is not in a position to pay bond. So any kind of paid bond is going to mean that she's just sitting in jail. She tells me that she does not live on her own. She lives with a friend of her mother's. So that's the reason why she's been able to survive, given the fact that she is unable to work. She's essentially has been unemployable for some time now, Your Honor, and hasn't been able to find any work. Based on the warrant, it seems like she was definitely not the aggressor in this battery family violence. I read the warrant and it seems like the allegation is that she took some keys and that she was followed. She went to her friend's house and Mr. Ivy followed her there and attacked her. Based on that, Your Honor, I would ask the court to consider giving my client a signature bond. Otherwise, she's going to be sitting in jail. Nothing further, Your Honor.
And do they both reside at this Westwood Avenue address?
No, Your Honor, they do not. My client has a separate address. And they are actually, I believe the warrant says that they are exes.
Oh, exes, okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I am going to order the $5,000 surety bond with $4,000 on the battery, $1,000 on theft by taking. And with that $5,000 surety bond, no further contact with the victim, which is Mr. Ivy. And I guess we don't need the stay away because that Westwood is her address.
That is correct, Your Honor.
Okay, so there's no further contact with Mr. Ivy, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. I think that will be it.
She has a Donnelly Avenue address, Your Honor, which is separate from, so I don't know who lives, if anyone, at that particular address that's mentioned in the warrant.
All right, I'll leave it off then. All right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mm-hmm.
Position 6, Ivy.
This is 23 CR 004109C, Jermaine Ivy, charged with 1 count of battery family violence. Pretrial.
He's on probation. Battery, possession of marijuana, giving false name. That was as of June 2nd of this year, Cherokee County, 2021. battery given false name, misdemeanor possession of marijuana, 2018 simple battery conviction, 2017 possession of marijuana conviction, 2015 probation. Hold on real quick. Let's see something.
Okay.
Last arrest was 2021 August. So that's it. I'll just check.
Okay. All right. PD Bronstein.
Yes, Your Honor. So as the court's aware, this is the cross defendant for the case that the court just heard. No one actually lives at, I mean, neither of the parties live at the address of the incident location.
Okay.
Mr. Ivy lives on 1602 on that street. He is 43 years old. He is from Atlanta. His whole family lives here. He has no children with Ms. Poole. He does have 2 children, including an adult daughter, and he has 2 grandchildren. He actually lives with his grandmother. She has dementia, and he has been taking care of her. He, for work, he did do epoxy flooring for media property. However, with taking care of his grandmother, he is unable to work very often and essentially has no money at all. And I do understand the criminal history. However, he did want me to request a signature bond on his behalf based on that. This case is quite messy. The court is aware. Both parties got arrested. It's my understanding after speaking with Mr. Ivy that she came over, but due to issues with his grandmother, he wanted her to go home, and the grandmother wanted her to leave. She took his keys. He tried to get the keys back. She would not give the keys back, and then that's how things turned. The argument turned physical, and he was trying to get the keys back. So with that in mind, we are asking that the court consider a signature bond in this case with whatever conditions the court deems appropriate.
All right. And I'm sorry, Mr. Eggers, I did not mean to skip you in your presentation.
No issue. Thank you, Your Honor. Yeah, the state has brought a charge of family violence battery on this case. It occurred June 29th. Again, it was the same case from before at 1623 Westwood Avenue, Southwest Atlanta. Him and Miss Poole are an ex-couple. An altercation occurred in and around the location. At one point, he struck her in the head area and caused swelling and an abrasion above the eye. This was recorded on a Zoom camera from across the street. The state, he does have a violent history. The state is asking for recommending a $5,000 surety bond on the charge, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons, an anger management course, and no further contact with Quanisha Poole.
Okay. I'm going to order a $4,000 surety bond. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond, and no further contact with the victim or cross defendant. No further contact with her. And I guess that's all I ordered this time, since there doesn't need to be a stay away. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, I do believe relative of the Mr. Ivy lives at that location.
Okay. All right, but no further contact between the parties, and that should do it for this case. Okay.
Your Honor, that concludes my business before the court today. May I be excused?
Yes, have a good holiday weekend.
Thank you, Your Honor. Same to you.
All right, thanks.
And next we have number 10, Mr. Walker.
Okay. This is 23 CR 004111J, Rashard Walker, charged of 1 count of violating a family violence protective order. Pre-trial.
33 adult arrest. Last arrest was 2022, simple battery, family violence. That's open. 22 CR 006, and they left off a number, but it's open in state court. 2012 grand theft conviction, trespass conviction, 2010 criminal mischief conviction. And I'm not sure about the victim in the last case. That's it.
Okay. All right, Mr. Eggers.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. The state has brought a charge of violating a family violence protective order. It occurred June 30th. Mr. Walker has been in a relationship with the victim, Rachel Gallick, and they do share a child. This occurred at 500 Northside Circle, Northwest Atlanta. They had been communicating regarding the parenting of their child, but then Mr. Walker just moved in to the location, even though he was not allowed to do so. He began threatening Miss Gallick and placing her in fear of him. And she is the subject of the prior protective order, and he has a bond for that. For that reason, the state is recommending a cash bond of $3,000 because this is a repeat offense. He has numerous cycles, 36 cycles in Florida, and multi-state offender arrests in Tennessee and Georgia as well. So we believe that that is appropriate. And he should stay away from the location and have no further contact with Miss Gallick. And I believe Miss Gallick, maybe my office has been in touch with her. If she's on the line, we would sound for her to speak.
All right. Miss Gallick, she on the line, Rachel? Don't see her.
Just
All
quickly, Judge Mincy, may I add?
Yes.
To Mrs. Not Mrs. but Mr. Eggers' point, the defendant in this case was before Judge Morrow, February 8th, 2022. That's where Judge Morrow gave this defendant a $3,000 surety bond with the conditions with no further contact with the victim in this case. And here on yesterday's date, the defendant was at or living in the residence with the victim, like Mr. Eggers said. And so that's why the state is recommending the $3,000 cash bond. I just wanted to make you aware that Judge Morrow did give him a signature, not a signature, but a surety bond for a previous family violence battery case with the victim in this case.
All right, thank you. PD Coleman.
Yeah, I'd be requesting a signature bond for Mr. Walker or in lieu of that a low bond. He is 39 years of age. He does reside here in Atlanta, Fulton County. Mr. Walker went as far as the 10th grade. He is not working, therefore he has no money to post for bond. He is the father of a 2-year-old child. I would like to point out that according to the warrant, if Mr. Walker was present at the residence, it was at the invitation of the alleged victim in this case. Again, I would be requesting signature bond or in lieu of that a low bond for Mr. Walker.
All right, I'm going to order the $3,000 cash bond. I'm going to order a stay away from the residential address of Rachel Gallick. I'm going to order no further contact with her. Gonna order no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And that's all I'm going to order at this time.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Position 11, Wheeler.
Okay. This is 23 CR 004104J, Ronnie Wheeler, charged with 1 count of simple battery family violence. Pretrial.
20 total, 2012 obstruction, 03 act stalking conviction.
All right, state.
Thank you, Your Honor. This event happened yesterday at 4482 Tell Road, Southwest Atlanta. The officers did arrive at the mentioned location. Upon arrival, they did meet with Ms. Tanisha Cruz, the victim and the defendant of defendant's 4 children. And the officers were advised that Ms. Cruz and the defendant got into a verbal argument. Ms. Cruz tried to leave and defendant blocked the door, and he would not let her leave due to him having to go to work the next morning, and he needed her assistance to watch the kids at that time. A brief struggle ensued in the doorway, and defendant pushed Ms. Cruz away. Ms. Cruz did walk into the kitchen and begin throwing plates at defendant, but that is when defendant moved from the front of the door of which he was blocking and punched Ms. Cruz with a closed fist. The children were in the living room when the incident occurred, and that's when Ms. Cruz was able to leave the front door and call 911. The state is recommending 3,000 surety bond, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, 1 day anger awareness, no further contact with the victim, and an additional stay away at 4482 Tell Road, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, Your Honor.
All right. PD Bronstein.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Wheeler is 65 years old. He is from Atlanta. He's been here his whole life. He has family here. In fact, when I did ask Mr. Wheeler if there is anywhere else that he'd be able to stay, he did say that he'd be able to stay with his brother who does live in town. I did inform Mr. Wheeler that he would need to go to the clerk's office to update that address. He knows where it is, he just doesn't have the address off the top of his head. For me to update the court with it at this time. All of his money basically goes to paying all the bills of the house. He does private contracting, seasonal work. He really doesn't make that much. So he is requesting that the court consider a low bond, lower than 3,000. And he did, and he actually did, which is in the warrant, tell the officers on scene that he didn't hit her, that she hit him. This is one of those messy situations where what the state is alleging is not what we're alleging happened, and he is, considered innocent of these charges at this time. We're asking that the court take that into consideration.
Okay. I'm going to order the $3,000 surety bond. I'm going to order stay away from 4482 Tell Road, Southwest. I'm going to order no further contact with the victim, Tanisha Cruz. And you said they did or don't have children together?
They do.
And if there's visitation allowed with the children, that it be precipitated by a third party. I don't know if he needs to go back to that residence to get any personal belongings or not.
I think so.
All right, I'm going to order one-time law enforcement escort for him to return to the property, get his belongings, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And I believe that will be it.
We're ready for position number 5.
Okay.
That was one I was asking, just a very brief breakout. There's just something I want to let the court know without blasting it over, YouTube.
Okay.
Which ASG?
I think we're the only ones on here, right? Who is
We
Mr.
are.
Sharp?
I think Mr. Sharp works at the jail.
He
Okay.
worked at the jail. Okay.
I wanted to let the court know, I just didn't want everyone to hear her health and mental health history. Just letting the court know that Ms. Henderson was recently